Hello, my wonderful readers, and welcome to the very first episode of Booked and Busy, the podcast where we talk about the books that take over our lives, ruin our sleep schedules, and give us fictional expectations that we people just cannot meet. I'm Christia, your host, your chaotic bookworm friend, and someone who will 100% cancel plans to finish a book. This podcast is all about romance and fiction, but in a way that's fun, a little messy, and full of feelings. Whether you're new here to reading or deep into book talk culture like me, you're totally safe here. This is your cozy corner of the internet where we scream about stories, characters, and especially today, men with wings. So let's get into it. If you haven't gotten the hint already about what we're talking about today and what book we're going to be discussing, it's A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, or as the internet loves to call it, ACOTAR. Now, because this series is really long and has so many things going on, I decided that it's a good thing that although it's long, it's not too long, and each book is like short enough but with a lot of detail. But I thought it would be good to go and analyze each book of the series one by one and really go deep into it, because I feel like what's the point of talking about a book if we're not really going deep in it and we're just skimming through it? So we're going through all 5 books together. So without further ado, because I can't wait to start, let's begin. So if you guys know the book or not, I'm just gonna give you like a small recap or an idea of what it is, so you can just like follow through even if you've never read it before or if you're just looking to talk about it. So the first book in the series is ACOTAR, and it's a fantasy romance series by Sarah J. Maas, as I've said, and it starts off feeling like a loose Beauty and the Beast retelling, except instead of a castle, it's a magical fae realm called Prithian, and instead of a cursed beast, you get Tamlin, which is sort of like a cursed beast himself, but that's another thing. We'll get into him in a bit. So the story follows Faye Archeron, a 19-year-old mortal girl who basically has been forced into survival mode, like since like a very young age, let's say. Her family is broke, her father is basically useless, and she's the only one keeping everyone alive by hunting in the woods. This was literally said in like the very first chapter, that she kills a wolf that turns out to be a fairy in disguise, which then breaks some like major magical law. Now, like, if many of you guys haven't read, like, when I say fae and fairies, like, I'm not talking about like the typical books that we used to read when we were like younger, as in like little person with like little wings that's like all glittery and stuff like that. Basically, in the fantasy world, a fae or fairy, which is written Faerie, or fae as in Fae, these are just like magical creatures who can either transform, have magical powers, just stuff around there. So let's go back into it. So after she breaks this major magical law for killing a wolf that turned out to be a fairy, as a punishment, she's then dragged across the wall, which basically separates the fae land and the human land, because she's a human. So she gets dragged into this mysterious land by a high fae, which is like basically like a king, let's say, named Tamlin, and she's forced to live in his court, and that's when things really start. Like, this is just like the introduction to the whole series, and this is literally just like a glimpse into everything. Now, I'm just gonna give you like a small rundown of the characters, because I think that's like really important. So the first character, the main character, her name is Feyre Archeron. And the thing is with these like fancy books, like the way you pronounce names are like really weird, but let's go on with it. So Feyre is, let's say, the girl. She's stubborn, rough around the edges, and fiercely loyal. She literally taught herself to hunt with a bow and arrow, like since she was young, to basically feed her family while her sisters and her father did absolutely nothing, just sit on their asses and spend the money that she gets and eat the food and treat her like absolute shit. Anyways, so she starts off by just trying to survive, but her journey becomes so much more. It's like about healing, finding her voice, her power, and honestly, like learning what honestly learning like what love should feel like, unlike the love she was receiving from her family. So her character arc is one of the best I've ever read, to be honest, like especially in the later books. But in ACOTAR, we start off with like a girl who's angry, guarded, and constantly on edge, and it's really heartbreaking but real at the same time. So now that we're done with Feyre, let's start with the second like main character that we see in this book, who's Tamlin. Now let's like really talk about him here, okay? So he's like this mysterious Fey High Lord who drags Feyre into the Spring Court. So where he's like the king and ruling. So he's like cursed, broody, and protective. So like the classic dark and tortured male lead energy. So what's one thing about him is that you would think he's the love interest, like you think he's the guy, like the one we're gonna fall in love with, but don't want to give any spoilers, but we'll see about that. So for a little while he's like he kind of is for the beginning, like he shows Feyre kindness, he teaches her about the Fey world, and like there's like a little slow burn in there. But then things get complicated. He's emotionally closed off, controlling, and once Feyre starts growing, he doesn't know how to handle it. Like, okay. And now looking back, like after I read the second book, like you low-key realize that Tamlin wasn't in love at all. He was just giving some comfort that turned into control. Okay, let's jump away from Tamlin and go into Rhysand. Like I can't even say his name, like Rhysand, like his name is really weird, but he's a really good character, in my opinion, obviously. So yeah, Rhysand is the High Lord of the Night Court. So like, he's the shit. So he doesn't really show up until like halfway throughout the first book, but when he does, like, game over. At first, he's like the villain. He's cocky, cunning, dangerous, and totally hot, of course. He makes a deal with Feyre that saves her life, but there's tension, chemistry, and mystery. So there's like more to him than like he's letting on, obviously. So what makes him so powerful is that he never tries to control Feyre. Like, he sees her power even before she does, and when you get to know him in book 2, like, he becomes one of the most supportive, emotionally intelligent, respectful, fictional love interest of all time, which is crazy, but like not crazy at all because it's a fantasy romance and they're all just amazing. So even in ACOTAR, you feel like there's a shift in the moment when he walks into the story, and you're just like, there's going to be something interesting like about him. Like, the author didn't put him there just to like take him away after that one scene. Now, let's talk about Amarantha. And oh my god, like, the hate I have for her is like unacceptable. So she's like the villain we love to hate, basically. Amarantha is the wicked Fey queen who cursed Tamlin and basically rules Prythian through fear and cruelty. She's sadistic, powerful, and terrifying, and she plays a major role in shaping Feyre's trauma and her transformation at the same time, which is so weird. So the final third of the book, when Feyre is like stuck in Amarantha's trials, it's super brutal, and it's not just like physically exhausting, it's like emotionally scarring, and just like Rhysand is there also, so like let's just say like they were low-key meant to be together. So now let's go in deep. let's go into the book. Okay, so now that we low-key went through like a small rundown of who like the main characters are in the first book and who it basically revolves around, I think that we should go deeper in. So like obviously ACOTAR is like a mix of spicy, fun and drama, but it also has like a very deep side to it. Like it's basically all about trauma and healing and like finding your own power. Like we can see this with Farah, like when she starts out thinking she's like only worthy if she's useful, which is why she puts herself out there so much. And like the people around her, like Tamlin, reinforce that, like, and doesn't know that that's not the way things are supposed to be. But like later on she learns like to value herself, not just as like as a lover or a caretaker, but like as a whole person. And Rhysand, which we're gonna start calling him Rhys because I feel like it's easier and that's like his nickname. Like even in his like small appearance in book 1, like he begins to show her that, which is crazy, but because he literally has like such a small like moment in the book, but that like let's say 5 seconds in the book was so much more impactful than like Tamlin's like 30 hours. Like it's you just can't compare. Like sometimes they really just say like it's all about like, what do they say about this again, like it's about the action more about than the words, you know, which was shown by Rhys, not Tamlin. So yeah, there's like that contrast between love that confines and love that frees you, which I think is a really important lesson. And like with that, let's say Tamlin gives her a cage and like calls it safety, like there you go, like stay in this house forever and like you're safe, while as Rhys gives her a key and like lets her fly and is like, as long as you're safe and you know what you're doing and I trust you, like there you go, which says a lot. Okay, now enough yapping about how much I prefer Rhys over Tamlin. I say I want to talk about, and I think you guys also want to talk about, the things that made me want to actually like scream and yell. Because if we don't talk about everything, like, are we even real readers at this point? I don't think so. So the first thing I want to talk about is the trials under the mountain. That entire thing, like, just actually felt like emotional torture. Like, watching Farah go through those trials, especially, like, the riddle and the worm, like, oh my god, like, I felt like I was there. Like, I felt like I was actually there watching it happen and I was getting anxiety. Like, I couldn't. Like, and I could even, like, smell it. And I was like, I didn't even want to be there. Like, I was picturing her there and I was like, oh my god, girl, like, you need to get out of here. And especially that, that last trial, like, I was, like, tensing up. And I wanted to, like, rip myself apart, but I'm not gonna spoil it in case some of you guys didn't read it. But like at this point, why are you listening to this podcast? If you haven't read it, go read it and come back here. Anyways, let's go to the next thing that really enraged me. Farah's family. I have beef. I have issues with her family. The first thing that really pisses me off in that family is Nesta, Farah's older sister, and her dad. Like, Farah literally broke her back. Like, she actually broke her back to keep them alive. And all, like, Nesta did was brushing her hair and acting unbothered and demanding money because she wants, like, new shoes. Excuse me? And after all of this, like, after everything, Farah was taken away and she felt guilty. Girl, I would be happy, like, if I was breaking my back for people who are ungrateful. Okay, like, enough, because I feel like I can literally talk about this for hours. And I know you guys want to hear me yap about it, but I don't think it's the right thing right now. Okay, let's move on. to Tamlin's red flags. Like, this guy is like a walking red flag altogether. Like, he's just painted red at this point. Like I think I've reread this book like twice, like the first book, and the second time I read it, like I realized the red flags from the beginning that I didn't realize. Like the first time I read it, I was like, oh my god, like he's so loving and caring, like oh my god. And then I read it again, and I was like, you're just being really controlling right now, and it's like not the like it's not how you're saying it, it's like the way you're saying it. Like it's like the under meaning of everything you're doing. Like he basically locks her in a room for her safety, avoids difficult conversations with her, and he gets very defensive when she expresses herself. Like, does this sound like a healthy relationship or someone you want to be with? I don't think so. Like, okay, he saved her from the wolf, but that doesn't make up for how he treats her when she starts growing. Like, let her grow. Like, you're literally manipulating her. Like, how could you? Like, how could you do that to a girl, Farah? Like, don't you guys agree? Okay. Whatever. I actually, like, talking about him, like, makes my blood boil. Now, let's go to one of my favorite characters, Rhysand, at the party. Like, okay. Like, although I love him, like, his behavior at the party, like, under the mountain, which is, like, basically where Amarantha is and with all her prisoners, like, it was kind of weird. Like, it was kind of really weird. Like, he drugged her, dressed her up, and paraded her around. Like, it felt super icky at the time, but, like, later on, like, when we get the full story, we, like, understand that he was protecting her, but in the moment, I was like, wait, like, how am I supposed to like you if you're doing stuff like this? Like, how did you go from Tamlin to you doing this? Like, this girl deserves a break. But at least, you know, it was for her own benefit. Yeah, okay. Next thing that was happening under the mountain, the riddle. Like, I'm sorry, like, we know, like, Pharaoh's, like, low-key uneducated and, like, she was kind of dumb or, like, stuff like this, but it was really obvious. Like, it was literally so obvious. Like, after I read it, like, because the thing is, I was okay seeing it on Book Talk too, like, when I was reading it, and, like, some people were saying, like, I still can't figure out what the answer is, and some people were like, I figured it out from the first, like, sentence, and that was before I read the book. So I was like before I read that chapter of the book. When I read it, I was like, there's no way, like, it was this easy. Like, there's no way. Like, I don't even know if I want to tell you guys what the, like, answer is, but to me, it was so obvious. Like, I literally was, like, screaming. I was like, girl, like, it's easy. Like, it's so easy. Like, it pains me. Okay. Now let's go to the ending. Sorry to break it to you, but she dies. I know she dies. JK. But she comes back to life as High Fae. Like, hello? I didn't see that coming. Like, did you guys? Because, well, at the same time, I was like, there's no way, like, she's just gonna die, and it was, like, a whole one book series for nothing. But, like, as High Fae is crazy. Like, that actually just shifted, like, the tone of the whole series and everything. And I was like, okay, like, this is not just, like, a normal fancy romance. It's, like, something else completely. And that is basically where the first book ends. Just, like, her coming back to life. Or I don't even know if she comes back to life in the second book. But it was something like that. Like, it was just that. But before we go to the second book, like, I just want to hear from you guys, like, a bit and see what you think about it. So I just wanted to know who your favorite character of that first book is. And, like, if you loved or hated Tamlin in book one, because I think you guys know my opinion on that. And, like, what were your thoughts about Rhysand when he first came into it? So yeah, leave your comments on my Instagram or use my hashtag booked&busy. And without further ado, let's go into the second book of the series. Oh my god, that was a lot. I hope you took a very needed snack and water break, because you know I did, because that was a lot. But if you think that was a lot, wait till you see the second book in the series, A Court of Mist and Fury, also known as ACOTAR, because whatever you think you knew in the first book, flip it around, twist it up, and throw it in the garbage, because this is going to be a life changer. It's like something completely different. Okay. So this is the second book in the ACOTAR series, and as I said, if the first book made you feel things, this is going to have you sobbing, screaming, and wanting to basically tattoo, I think, chapter 55 across not just your chest but your soul. So get your water or tea or coffee ready, because we're starting to get deep into it. Let's begin. Okay, let's start. Let's start talking about what happened in this book and why it's so powerful. So when ACOTAR opens, Feyre has just survived Amarantha, and under the mountain, it's like whole fiasco. She's back in the spring court, engaged to Tamlin. Can you believe that? And guess what? She's miserable. Shocker? I don't think so. She's having nightmares, throwing up every night, and pretending to be okay with it while Tamlin builds a cage around her. But like not an actual cage, like a cage made of silence and fear, which is low-key, high-key, even worse. So because of that, we see a completely different Feyre. She's not hunting or fighting anymore. She's basically haunted, depressed, and trapped in a life that's supposed to be her happy ending. And instead of helping her, Tamlin just doubles down on controlling her. Like, okay, thank you so much. He refuses to let her leave the house. Like, first of all, what? Brushes off her pain. Double what? And then, worst of all, he shuts her power down emotionally and magically. So she's like just actually trapped. And when like she's like, I can't, like, I'm literally just sitting there screaming like, someone get her out of here. Like, she cannot survive another day there. Like, she's gonna turn into like mush and pudding. But of course, the savior shows up, Rhysand. And that is when things change. Complete 180. She leaves the spring court with Rhysand. They go to the night court, or like this little city right next to it called Velaris, the city of starlight. And when I tell you, like, it's stunning. Like, the way the author described it, like, I want to be there mentally, because it's literally gorgeous. Like, it's just, I want to live there, and I hate the night, but I want to be there. Okay. So the contrast between like the spring court and the night court is like crazy, and it's beautiful at the same time, because I was like, it's obvious where you're supposed to be and where you're supposed to live. Like, let's never go back to the spring court ever again. So yeah, we see a transformation with Feyre from a broken survivor to a powerful high lady. So now I want to talk about like another deep dive into the characters in this book, and like some glow ups they've had, and like a small introductions to some new characters in the book. So let's start off again with Feyre, aka the main character. So at this point she's like rising, like she's changing, she's becoming a better person, she's like getting more confident, which is perfect for her. So watching her process her trauma, embrace her powers, train, paint again finally, it's amazing, it's incredible. So you really feel like that emotion, like that she's going through, and like when she like chooses like herself and walks away from Tamlin, like thank God. Like I think I just like screamed, like thank God. Like I hope I never have to see that guy again. And let's let's give some like praise to the person who low key let that happen, Rhysand. Like this was his book. This was his redemption basically. So this is where we learn everything about him, like his past, his trauma, what happened under the mountain, his sacrifice, and how he waited for Pharaoh. Like did you hear me? Waited for her. And like I don't want to go too deep into it, but like cuz I want you to find out by yourself. But if you've read it and you know, like that was actually crazy. Like I want someone to wait for me, like Rhysand waited for Pharaoh. Anyways, so he gives her freedom, equality, space, and he sets the bar so high, like not just like as for other like book talk men, but like maybe for real life men in relationships. Like it was that good. Like it was actually that good. Now let's go into the inner circle. So these are like Rhysand's like best friends, like the people he trusts more. He trusts with everything. Like he trusts his life with them. I don't know. So we have Morrigan. She's like a little petite woman. Oh no, sorry. Morrigan. She's like this tall blonde lady. She's powerful, kind, loyal. She's like perfect, you know? Then we have Cassian, like this huge, like manly man. But he's chaotic and he's like a warrior, but he's actually has like the softest and best heart ever. Then we have Azriel, who's like the quiet, brooding, dangerous guy, like the most typical like book. Like if you read any book about a guy who's like mysterious, like just wrap it up and that's Azriel for you. Now for Amryn, she's like this little like I think she's like Asian in the book, but like she's like this little woman that's just like scary, like ancient, but she looks like she's 20 and like at the same time iconic, I guess. So yeah, all of this together, I was like, I'm so excited to read this book. Like, let's keep going, you know? Okay. Now some themes in this book. Like, although it's all fun and games and like genuinely like I'm starting to look up at it, there are like some really like deep themes here, as like most of the book. Like I don't think a book would be interesting if it was all like roses and butterflies and stuff like that. So one of the first themes we see here is survival's guilt and PTSD. So basically Farah's trauma isn't just brushed off at all, it's like front and center, which I think is really important because stuff like this shouldn't be pushed off to the side and should be talked about, which was great that we were able to like not only read this but experience it like with her at the same time, because I feel like a lot of people can learn from it. Then we see like another theme of freedom and control, and we see really the difference. Like sometimes like these two lines merge and you can't tell the difference, but like more that you read and you hear other people's experiences, like you notice the difference, which we can totally see here with Rhysand when he offers a choice and like makes her feel safe, whereas in like Tamlin offers a cage where he pretends like it's about safety and love when it's like the complete opposite. And I think once you realize that there's a really like fat line in the middle, like is when like you grow as not only like a person, a reader, like just everything in general. The other thing is like finding your place, and like this is when like for example Farah realized that she never actually fit in the spring court. Like she was just basically being forced to fit there, like, and it's like it wasn't giving her the opportunity to really bloom and like see her potential. And this next theme that I think is really, 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 really important is that real love is respect. Like, respect is the most important thing, and I think that Rhys really gives that to her, unlike Tamlin. So Rhys never really pushes her. He supports her, brings her up, and like even when it hurts him, he like still doesn't cross that boundary to push her down. Unlike Tamlin. Like at this point, is Tamlin ever going to be a good character because he just keeps digging a bigger hole for himself? Okay. Now let's really be real right here, okay? Let's talk about the ins and outs, the chaotic moments of this book, okay? As I said before, Tamlin, like I don't even want to talk about him. Fuck him. Basically, I'm sorry for my language, but he locked her in the house. The wedding, like did we not forget about the wedding scene? Like what the hell was that dress? Like do you know her even? Like do you know her even? He literally ignored her breakdowns, ignored her, didn't say anything to her. Like there's just so many things. Like I can't. That dress. Like I really like I just get flashbacks from it, like of how horrible it is. Like I want you to pause this video, go on the internet if you have not already, and search up that wedding dress. Like if you know anything about Feyre, like you know that is not a her dress at all. Like she literally, poor girl, honestly. Okay, this one is like really kind of weird, but I don't want to spoil it, but I feel like I should say it. So if you haven't read the book, cover your ears. But we finally find out that Rhys and Feyre are mates. Oh my god. They are mates. Like, finally. Like, Tamlin can just be pushed out of the picture and I never have to see him again. That was so cute, okay? Like, I needed a moment. Chapter 55. If you know, you know. If you don't know, like, are you living under a rock? Like, it was everything. It was everything for me. It was everything. And then another thing that, like, really showed, like, character development, in my opinion, was when Feyre became High Lady. And towards the end of the book, she was like, I am High Lady of the Night Court. Like, bow down to you. Because right now, like, you're eating, like, I think this is when she started realizing her worth. And, yeah. Okay. I think we should end book 2 here because there is a lot to talk about. And I think we've talked about, like, some major things. However, I would like to know your opinions on the second book. So once again, like, tag me or add your comments on Instagram because genuinely, like, I could talk about this for days and days and like I just can't. Okay. I think right now we should move on to book 3. A Court of Wings and Ruin. So, once again, let's take a little small break, rehydrate, have a little snack, and we'll meet again and talk about the third book in the series. I literally cannot wait. Okay, guys. Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Let's jump into book 3 of the ACOTAR series by Sarah J. Maas, A Court of Wings and Ruin, also known as ACOTAR. This is the book where, like, everything explodes, the stakes are high, and there's, like, I think there's more than enough trauma, betrayal, and war to keep you unwell for weeks and maybe take a break from reading, because I kind of did. Like, I had to close the book a bit and just, like, take a breather before I could continue. So ACOTAR basically picks up right where Akamath left us. So Feyre is back in the Spring Court. Shocking, I know. I like never believed she'd ever go back there. But she's pretending to be loyal to Tamlin. let's just hang on to the word pretending for now. So she's actually plotting his downfall, like they are just said it. Dare I say iconic? Like he deserves like everything that's going to happen to him, low key. Okay. So she's basically undercover, she's spying, she's manipulating, and she's playing the long game while also trying to gather information about the King of Hybern, which came up and was like, oh, I hate. Like, this storyline actually kills me. Okay. He's like the big bad wolf of the series, and he wants to destroy the wall and take down the human and fae realms, and he just wants all the power, and that's where Rhysand and some of the other like high faes are trying to stop, because it's just gonna create chaos, and the King of Hybern just wants complete control. So from there's like war preparations, like there's court politics, we meet other high faes, there's emotional reunions, so like people haven't seen each other in forever, there's so many secrets and meetings and blah 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 blah. Like that part just like killed me. Like other than the new characters I saw, I'm not into politics at all, so I was just like, okay, like can we get to the good part please, like at the same time. So this book just basically builds on towards like the inevitable that's going to happen, which is like the full-on war that basically tests Feyre, Rhys, and their entire court in every possible way, like up and down, left to right, like everything. So the world gets bigger, the stakes get higher, and everything feels like it could fall apart any second, which was very, very, very traumatizing. Like I couldn't. But we do meet like one main other character in this book, but at the same time I just want to like go back and like analyze some of our characters and how they're doing here. So let's start with Feyre, our leading lady. She's now a high lady. She's just slaying. She's strategic, she's powerful, she's ruthless when she needs to be, and soft when it matters. Her growth is phenomenal, might I say. And she's not just fighting battles, she's making decisions that impact the entire world, which puts a lot of weight on her shoulders. Now, the man on her side, Rhysand. So he continues to become and is that supportive, emotionally available man that we just all deserve someone like him, to be honest. But this time we see him really vulnerable, like his past trauma, his fears, his willingness to die for his people, like, which is crazy. It like just all hits harder, and like him and Feyre's bond is stronger than ever, and we feel it by the way they express themselves and they talk about it. Now these are some like two newish characters to the book, like they were mentioned before, but now they actually have like a bigger role here, and that is Nesta and Elaine, Feyre's sisters. Nesta is Nesta. She's angry, she's bitter, she's explosive, but there's really like power bubbling under the surface, like maybe her and Cassian's tension, might I say, maybe. But then there's Elaine on the other hand. She's like quiet, broken, gentle, but unexpectedly like really important, which I didn't expect at all, which is why I said unexpectedly. Anyways, so what we can learn from this is to never underestimate the soft ones, because there's a lot behind the things that are unsaid. Okay, then we have Cassian, Azriel, Mor, and Amren, who are the inner circle, and it's like just they're being really tested. Like Mor gets like more sexuality gets revealed, and we know that she's like kinda lesbian when her dad was trying to marry her off to a guy, but she's not into guys, and it's like this whole thing. And we know that Azriel has like a small crush on her. I mean, Cassian and Azriel, like they just show pure loyalty and strength, and Amren, she's what she is. She's scary, but she's like very important later on. Tamlin, I can't believe I'm saying he's back in this book, but he is, and he's just like kind of like a main. Like, it's really complicated. He's still disgusting and I hate him, but he has like a couple redemption crumbs which are really shocking, but the trust is gone and that's all his fault, which is fair enough. Now, one of the new main characters, or like mainish characters of this book, is the King of Hybern, and he's like the ultimate manipulator, ruthless, power hungry, like extremely power hungry, and he's just the classic hateable villain. And like the second he opens your mouth, you're like, shut up, I don't want to hear you speak. Well, that's not just my opinion, like that's what I also heard from others, so like I'm not really being biased here. Okay. So let's just jump at some like themes that we see here. And like we know like within the real world that war is, it's generally just like fucked up, and like you would think, let's say you want to read a book that doesn't like that maybe like pulls away from like these like very deep topics, but this isn't it. They just truly show how ugly war is. They just show some loss, some fear, some desperation. Like there's just like no sugarcoating it. Like it is what it is, and like it's really heartbreaking because these are just like characters, and like it made me think of like the bigger picture and the things going on in the real world, and it was a lot for me, to be honest. So I needed like a break after that, just like to be more like reflective. Another thing that was like a big theme here was that power comes with pain, and we can see that with Feyre and Rhys, and like the court. Basically, they constantly have to choose between what's right and what's easy, and these decisions are very hard. Another thing we see is redemption and revenge, like characters like Nesta, Tamlin, and even Amren get their arcs, but there's like this like very weird line between like hero and villain, and it's like really complicated. And then lastly, one of our bigger themes are sacrifice for love. And I think we're always going to go back to love because this is a fantasy romance book, and I, in my opinion, think that books aren't very interesting if it doesn't have love, because it's just so, it's like this little like you need hope here, you know? So yeah, like there's moments in this book where people choose love over life or duty over desire, and it's like really gut-wrenching. So let's be real right here, and some things that I loved and hated, screamed and cried over. Feyre, when she was on the spring court, like, oh my god, this girl like was creating chaos. Like she literally played that game way too fucking well. Like she destroyed Lucian's trust, who was like Tamlin's best friend if you didn't know. And she destroyed Tamlin's court from the inside. Like genuinely, like she was so smart for this. Like this is genuinely like her heroine like awakening. Like good for her. Lucian at the same time, like although he's best friends with Tamlin, whatever, he did deserve better. Like at the end of the day, like, and it's one thing that they did that like Lucian and Elaine are like mates. Like no, no, I don't even want to think about it. The High Lords meeting was so messy. Another thing, like Tamlin was throwing tantrums and like throwing daggers and like shots at Feyre. Like grow up. Like I think you're like 100+ years old at this point. Like just get it together. Nessa and Cassian's dynamic ate up. Like when he said, like let me read to you what he said, okay? I will find you in the next world, and the next, and the next. Like, so cute. Okay. Another thing is that Amren's sacrifice. Like, I didn't think I really loved her until, like, I felt her, like, die. Because that was a lot. And then Rhys dies. I think we just missed that. Rhysand dies. Like, just kill me. Like, just kill me. But then he comes back to life and he says, I love you. So, to Farah. So, like, whatever. The death was forgiven. But there's one thing that I want to say, though. Like, as much as I love this book, and, like, I do have my little, like, tweaks, I felt like the ending was, like, really rushed. Like, there was so much build up with the war and everything happening, and then the solution just came in 2 seconds. Like, I feel like I could have used like another like 50 to 100 pages just to like go in deeper. Like, there's no way you made such a big build up and you gave me the ending in like not even a chapter. Like, it's just, it low-key, like, I felt like it ruined the book. But yeah, I wanted to let you know, like, that was my opinion on this book. It was a lot, and I just want to know what your opinions are on it. Like, I want to hear your thoughts. Tell me, write to me, share, tag me. I want to hear it all. Like, what did you think about Nesta's role in the war? Like, did you think, like, Rhysand's death scene, like, did it really hurt you like it hurt me? And mainly, are we forgiving Tamlin or not? Because I don't think I am, but I'd like to know what you're thinking. And with that, we are going to go to the next book in the series. So let's begin. Okay, guys, this is the last part of this episode because I decided that the best thing to do is combine book 4 and 5 of the series, which are A Court of Frost and Starlight and A Court of Silver Flames. Now, the reason why I did that is because I was reading a lot of comments earlier and I saw that people think that, like, in A Court of Frost and Starlight, like, nothing really happens, which I agree with. It's like just more like a fluffer, like a just like a fill-in, like something where you just want like a breather. So I understand why people think that it's not really worth talking about, which is why I decided to combine it with A Court of Silver Flames, which is basically Nesta and Cassian's book, and that's where like there's like Nesta's like redemption arc and Cassian's moment to shine. So this book specifically, the one of Nesta and Cassian, was like very raw, very heavy, and unapologetically about healing, rage, recovery, and desire. Like, just to put it in simple words. Which I liked, but not really, because I haven't really warmed up to Nesta as like others. Like, I just feel like whatever she's doing, like it doesn't make up for what she did and how she was treating Farah. Like, I think this might be like an unpopular opinion, but I can't get over it. But I'm gonna try and be unbiased here, although I am talking about my opinions, and we're just gonna like dive right in. Okay, so Aquafaz, as I said, is like our breather. So it's right after the war with Hybrid. So it gives us like a slice of life moment with the inner circle in Velaris, and they're celebrating winter solstice. So it's like it's soft, it's snowy, it's beautiful, like it's holiday vibes, and it's just like grieving and recovering, which was very needed after everything they've been through. So we see a lot of shopping, gift exchanges, firelight parties, Farah's painting again, Rhys lets himself go and rest, Cassian tries to help Nesta, and Elaine, she's just watering plants, I guess. Like, this poor girl, like, it's just like there's nothing, like, there hasn't been anything interesting about her yet. But like in Aquafast, you're just feeling like, ooh, warm and fuzzy, just like, oh, look how cute these moments are. And then bam, we enter Akosf. Yeah, the weird is like the name is really weird, but everything just switches up again. It's just like fire and fury all over again. So Nessa is spiraling, she's drinking, she's being isolating, she's raging, and she basically gets sent to this house of wind, where it's like this super tall building with like God knows how many million like staircases, and like you can't leave. It's just basically like a prison cell, and she gets put there sort of like a punishment and something to like learn more. So with that, she's like forced to train with Cassian and like shelves books in a library that are like filled with like priestesses who are healing from trauma. So like they're not really there to BS and fool around. So this is where the Valkyrie arc begins. The dread trove rises and the stakes climb up again. And this isn't just about like magic or war, it's about like a woman choosing to live like by choice. So let's go into like a deeper dive about these characters and the new characters in these books. So after the war, our main character Feyre is quieter. She's softer, she's creating again, she's building an art center, and she's just learning to be herself, not just like fighting and being a high lady, but like truly understanding what she wants to be as a person. She's just learning how to exist. And spoiler alert, she announces she's pregnant, and there's like this mix of joy and fear because like Rhys is a half bat with wings, and they don't know about this whole complication about how she's going to give birth to a baby with wings when she's in her human form because she can't transform. Oh my god, that was just like a whole thing that like I can't even get to. But we read with Rhysand, like he's still the High Lord, he's still an amazing husband, but he's hiding things about the baby and about Nesta. So like I know he means well, but like some control issues are popping up again. Like he's just trying to protect, but he's forgetting that the like he's in a relationship now and he has to be more open, but he still loves her deeply. Now with Nesta, because the last book is her book, she's very angry, bitter, and broken, and like she just wants to be free from everything. And it's not like she's not likable, although I find her very unlikable, but it just makes her real in some sense. So it's just like her healing and learning to live with like a very traumatic past, because she talks about like how her grandma and her mother like really like terrorized her and traumatized her. So that's why she is the way she is, but whatever. Now, let's talk about Cassian. His love language is space. So he doesn't really try to fix Nesta, he just holds a space for her somewhere within. So, like, it's really fun dynamic. Like, I think he's a really fun character. He challenges her, he flirts with her, but he also waits for her, which is really important. And then when she finally lets him in, like, I'm just like, thank you, like, finally. Then we have Nesta's best friends, which are Emery and Gwyn. So they're also survivors and fighters, and they're friends that Nesta has made throughout her journey. And yeah, like this whole sisterhood was very cute. Now with Elaine, our sweet little Elaine, she's still very sweet, distant. We don't really know anything about her. She's just like silent, and like we really don't know, like, but we do see some tension with Azriel, because it's very obvious that Lucian was not her mate. Like, I don't know who messed up, but they messed up hard. Now let's go and look at some themes. We think we noticed throughout this book that grief is not a timeline, and there's not like a date or how long it takes for someone to grieve. And it's just like it takes as long as it does for some people. Like, it doesn't mean the war just ended, that the pain did, you know what I mean? Like, it keeps going. Like, you're gonna live with this forever, hopefully not, but who knows. There's like anger, which is like a form of power, I guess. Like, Nesta's rage is valid, but like it doesn't make her villain, it makes her real. I get it, but whatever. healing isn't pretty. We know that. It's like messy, raw, emotional, like it's crazy. And yeah, what should we talk about next? Let's see. Let's talk about the couples. I think we should talk about the couples. So Feyre and Rhys are still perfect. They're hiding some things, like the pregnancy arc brings up trauma, fear, and intense protectiveness, but no relationship is perfect. But the bathtub scene, like, can we just talk about that? That was very intimate. Like, I was like, I don't think I have to be here for this. Like, can we just close the door? Now, let's go to Cassian and Nesta. The stairs, the cabin, the right. Oh my god. Like, oh my god. Like, it's so emotional. It's so deep. And, like, the best thing about this is that he sees her at her worst and he still calls her worth loving, which is so cute. Like, Cassian is such like a teddy bear. Like, you wouldn't expect this from him by the way he looks, but he's actually such a teddy bear. Now, Azriel and Elaine / Gwen. I don't know if that's like a love triangle or like love square because Lucian's involved, but it's like just really messy. Like, that's something I need to figure out in the later books. Like, that next book needs to come out now because I need a lot of answers. Like, I need to figure out what she's doing. But I just want to talk about some things that, like, these like little moments that I loved and hated throughout the book. So I loved when Nesta was dancing in the House of Wind, like literally no one was watching, but I was watching. But it was so cute, like it just felt like such like a girl moment. Like you're just dancing like no one's watching, which was so cute. Maybe the library scene, like how it became like such a sacred and safe space, which was really cute. I like that the female rage was being validated and not villainized, which is like really hard to write because I feel like when it's written it can be taken out of context or spun around, and like I really like that it was written really well and the people reading it understood it and weren't trying to like twist it around, you know? Some things that I hated that Rhys was hiding again, like, sir, did you not learn from last time? Elaine giving us literally nothing. Like, thank you very much. What is the point of you being here? And yeah. That's what I think. I think that this book, like, I got really sad when I finished the book. I think that was like maybe 2 years ago. And like I'm still waiting for the next one to come out, and like I'm genuinely like really excited because I feel like there is a lot, and what's the best thing about these types of books is that you can reread it and it's not like something you'd be bored about, rather like you learn and find out little things throughout, which is really nice. So maybe one day when I'm done with my TBR and I have time, I would love to reread this. Maybe when the rest of the series came out, because I cannot wait for another long ass time for another book. But these are my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. And as I said again, leave some comments on my Instagram or use hashtags of Booked and Busy so I see them. And I'm going to put up a poll on my Instagram and respond to see what's the next book that we should talk about on my next episode. Thank you guys for listening. I love you all, my little... I need a name for you guys, actually. Bookworms? I don't know. If you have any recommendations of what I should call you, let me know. And I'll see you / hear you next time. Okay, I think that's it. Until next time, stay booked, stay busy, and never be afraid of your fire. Goodbye.